Hello and welcome to SudoKanard. Generally, when a round of WPF Sudoku Grand Prix is finished, I solve all classics with French commentary because I know there's some French audience for the classic Sudoku, and especially the easier ones. But here's a classic worth 58 points, which is quite high for a classic Sudoku in Grand Prix. It was by Chinese author Siyuan Luo, like all puzzles that I've solved recently. And I couldn't solve it during the event. I wasn't inspired. Well, when I searched afterwards, I found what was hidden in this puzzle, and I hope I will find it again. So let's have a look. So the beginning is really not easy. So because of those fives, there should be a 5 in one of those two cells. Because of the ones here, there should be a 1 here. 7s, well, nothing interesting. 9, there should be a 9 here. And there's a 6 somewhere here. Looking at the columns, there should be a 7 there. A 9 there, 3 there, 8 somewhere here, a 6 somewhere here, and nothing really interesting. So it looks like it will be more useful to have a look at candidates rather than, well, couldn't say why. What? And so, what happens with candidates? Or is there something easy that I missed? Well, probably. But let's have a look at cells that are very few candidates. This one can't be 1, 2, 3. I think only 5 and 8 are possible here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9. Yes, that's correct. Here, it could only be 1, 5, and 7, I think. And what else happens? Well, there should be a 7 here. This here, well, lots of candidates. That's not the place to look. Here, 3, 5, and 6. All right. Here, 2, 3, 4, and 6. That's not interesting. Consider in this region, 2 can only be here or there. And something we can see is with 8s, there are lots of 8s here, and on this row, 8 can only be, let's do that with colors, 8 can only be here and there on this row. And if we look carefully, and that's the hidden part of it, you can see that on this row, 8 can't be here, it can't be here, it can't be here, neither can it be here. So the only 2 places are there. So those are the places for 8 in this row and in this row, and they form an X-wing, meaning that we know that these 2 rows have exactly 2 8s, and they're either here and there or here and there, so that on those columns, 8 can't be anywhere else than here or there. And that may be interesting because it removes 8 from this cell. This can't be 8. If I try to put an 8 here, then On this row 8 would have to be here, and on this row 8 would have to be here, and they would clash. So this is 5. Now this is not 5 anymore, that is 5. There's a 5 down there. There's no 5 here. And then this should help, I think. So this cell now can only be 3, 4, or 8, I think. This can't be 8, so it can only be 1, 3, or 4. This here can only be 2 or 8, I think. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. That's it. That's correct. And then you see that this X-ring gives a beginning, but that's not the end of the solve. That's far from being the end of the solve. This here sees all digits from 1 to 7, so this is 8 or 9, but by the X-wing it can only be a 9. So the remaining of this row needs 1, 2, 7, 8, so this is 2, 7, or 8. This is 1 or 7, so there's a 1, 7 pair here. This can't be a 7. Now in this box we need 3, 4, 5, and 9, so this is 3 or 5. 3 or 5. Actually 9 can only be here, and 4 has to be here. And there's a 4 down there, and there's a 9 up there. And then if you look at this row, we see that 9 can't be here, 9 can't be here, neither can it be here. Not sure about the construction of this sentence, neither can it be here. So 9 has to be here. It removes this option and puts a 9 here. I think we have all 9s in the grid. No, not quite. We still need to resolve those positions. But that's progress. This 5 now can't be here in this column, so we need a 5 down there. So that's a 4-5 pair. And the remaining digits in the column are 1, 3, 7. This is not 7. In this column, there's a 9 up there. So the remaining options here are 1, 2, 3, 7. So this is 1 or 3. This is 1 or 2. Well, 1, 2, 3, 7. One of them is here. Not so interesting. Where else can we look? Here, it can't be a 4, so it has to be a 4 here, and the remaining options are 1, 6, and 7. So this is 6 or 7. This is 1 or 7. On this column, we know that 6 and 7 can't be here because of that, so they must be here and there. We still need a 4. We need 2, 4, and 8. So this is 4 or 8. This is 2, 4, or 8. And we still know that this can't be 8. This row, what can we see about this row? 5 can't be here. It could be here, could be here. Not interesting. So, as I was saying, this X-wing was the starting point, the initial break-in, but that's not crushing the solve to pieces. Where is the 1 in this column? Could be here, could be up there. What are the options here? Only 3, 6, and 8, I think. Is that correct? 1, 2, 4, yes, 3, 6, and 8. This can't be 8. This can still be 8. On this row, 7 can't be here. Could be here, could be here. Not that interesting. 6 is not here. We already saw that. The options here are only 3, 4, and 8. That's correct. So that, oh yes, that's nice. There has to be a 6 up there. So there's no 6 here, and on this row, 6 can only be here. And that's a 7, and this 7 puts a 7 here. And do we have all 7s? No, there has to be a 7 somewhere here. The options here are 1, 3, 4, and 7. So 1, 3, 4 here. 1, 4, 7 here. This can only be 2, 3, or 6. And there has to be a 4 somewhere in here. Still not resolved, still far from being solved on this. This can only be 1, 3, or 9. 8 is not here. So the options are 2, 3, 4, and 6. That's a lot. Not easy. Here the options are 5, 6, and 8. And actually this can only be 5. That's true. If you look at all digits in the row and the column, this can only be 5. So this is 3, this is 5. This is not 3. This has to be 6 or 8. This can't be 8. It has to be 2, 4, or 6. So this is 2 or 4. 2, 4, 6. 1, 2, 4, and 7. This is not 7. So 1, 2, or 4. There's a 5 somewhere here. And that's interesting. Here we know that it's not 5. So on this row, 5 must be here. 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 8. So this is 1 or 8. There's a 7 down there. Don't know where. What do we need here? We need a 5 somewhere. Oh, there's a 4 here, so that's not a 4. And we have a 1, 2 pair in this row. So the remaining digits are 4, 5, 8, and 6. So this is 4, 5, or 8. But there's a 4 here, so that's not a 4. So 4, 5, 8, and 6. So this can only be a 6, given the digits here. So that's not 6. That's not 6 either. So 4, 5, or 8. This is 4 or 8. And then in this box, 1 can only be here. In this box, 1 can only be here. It pushes the 2 here. That's a 2. 4, 5, or 8 here. But this can't be 8 by the X-wing on 8s. So we get a 4, 5 pair in this last row. We still need 3, 8, and 7 in this row. So 3 or 7 here, 7 or 8 here. That's a 1, 7, 8 triple here. And up there, we have a 2, 6 pair. There's quite some work to do in this puzzle. 58 points is far from, well, I think it could have been worth more than 58 points, actually. But that's an opinion I very often have on the rating of classic Sudoku. Right, this column still needs 1, 3, and 8. We still need a 6 somewhere here, and we still don't know where. Here. What is this digit? Something between 3, 4, and 9, I think. It can't be 6, it can't be 8. 1, 3, 4, 9. I'm being cautious because I do so many mistakes. This row needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Oh. Am I missing something simple here? The answer is probably yes, I'm missing this one here. That resolved this. That's a 7, that's a 4, that's a 2, 3, 6, 8, 6, that's a 4, that's an 8. So I've been missing easy stuff for a few minutes, I'm afraid. 5, 4, 5, 8, 4. Now the puzzle seems to be crumbling down, tumbling down, falling down, collapsing. Not quite sure. This 7 puts a 7 here. That's a 9. That's a 3. Pushes the 9 to the top. No 3's there. There's a 1, 3 pair here. So that's 2. That's 1. That's 3. That's 1. That's 3, 1. 6 here. 2 there. 7, 1. 8, 7. This 8 resolves this 3, 8 pair. That's a 3, that's a 1, that's a 6, and finally a 4, which finishes this soul. Well, that was definitely a harder classic by Sudoku Grand Prix standards, but it was not monstrously difficult. It was just really not that easy. And it was very well made, like, well, basically all the puzzles in this round by Siyuan Luo. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for watching me struggle on those puzzles. And see you soon on SudoKanard.